Hello, world. My name is Akish Aklord Mullins, and this is the Ak Report. Hello, world. My name is Akish Aklord Mullins, and this is the Ak Report. Today is another sad show. 14 students, one teacher killed in a Texas mass shooting. Another I'm not going to say white supremacist. So, in the beginning, I'm not going to lie. I posted on Twitter. I posted a tweet on Twitter because America has us brainwashed or convinced that the only mass shooters or mass shootings that occur around here are from white supremacists or someone with white skin complexion. All others are just considered just random acts of violence, I guess. I don't know. This is just how America classifies them. But this right here, it has been revealed that this gentleman, 18-year-old Salvador Ramos, he's a student at the high school there at, I want to say Uvalde High School. I don't know, but it's a high school there in Texas. But I'm going to read for you right now the article, and then I'll go into my thoughts of some things that I feel that we need to discuss because, like I said, this is getting out of hand now. And the excuses that are being used for the reason why these not children, they're grown men. I understand that they're 18, but legally by law, once you turn 18, you're an adult. So that's how I'm going to treat this as this man being an adult who still was behaving as a child. It says the suspect was identified as 18-year-old Salvador Ramos, a student at the Texas high school. 14 students and a teacher are dead after a shooting at Robb Elementary School in Texas on Tuesday, according to Governor Greg Abbott. The 18-year-old suspect, a student at Uvalde High School, is also deceased. The suspect also shot his grandmother before he went to the elementary school and did what it is that he did there. Abbott said the shooter, identified by law enforcement sources and the governor as Salvador Ramos, had a handgun and also possibly a rifle. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to think or what to say about this story. And the reason why I say this is because I've also seen reports that the FBI are down there now, which I can understand why they would be down there, but why would they still be continuing to investigate this case when this unfortunate soul, selfish individual not only went and did what he did to these children and these innocent adults, but this unconned soul, well, they basically don't tell us how he got taken out of here. We don't know if he did it himself or if the police did it or if any or who did it. We just know that he's no longer here. I'm just trying to figure out why they're still trying to investigate. The investigation to me would be over unless, I don't know. This is just my theory. This is alleged. This is what I think. I believe. I don't know. But after the Buffalo mass shooting, they said that he sent out a manifesto to his Discord. And there were people in that small group of Discords that received it, but they don't know how many people have opened it and read it at this time. And they're still looking into that situation. So we had 3 to 4 big shootings like this in less than a week at a grocery store, a church, elementary school, and I believe there's another one. I just can't call it right now. And the problem is race is always an issue here in America, unfortunately. That's a reality that we all are going to have to live with, whether we like it or not, whether we want to deal with it or not. And we can move past things like this, the consequences that come from these actions. For instance, in situations like this, more often than not, descendants of slavery die, POCs die, and white supremacists live to offend again. I don't know what it is about not wanting to kill the white supremacists or get the white supremacists up out of here when they do a crime or when they do in these kind of situations versus if they're a descendant of slavery or a POC. As we can see, like I said, I can only assume because they haven't fully released how this gentleman got up out of here. They don't say if the cops did it. They don't say if he did it himself. They don't say if security or if someone did it. But we know he's just not here. My other question is, not even with just Well, you know what? The grocery store aside, they did have an armed security guard there. He was also a former police officer, and he did his best to try to save the people in that community. The problem in that situation was is that the individual, the unconscious soul, that white supremacist, yes, he was a white supremacist, even according to your boy Joe Biden.
White supremacy is a poison.
He was a white supremacist. Even in that situation, he was heavily armored. So the bullets that the security guard had was not working for him. From the story we've been told so far, Ramos only had a handgun and possibly a rifle. Another question is, I want to know what kind of handgun this man had. Because if all he had was a handgun and he did all of that, one, how many bullets did that handgun have? Like, did he? I would think that he had a rifle than a handgun. I'll take their word for it. No matter how you slice it, it's all still that situation to me. Another problem I have here is Ramos offed his grandmother before he took a journey to the elementary school and did what he did to those 14 innocent students when he took the excuse me, because there's more than 14 people who suffered this day. It's just unfortunate that there were 14 innocent children and one adult at the time of this recording who has lost their life to this misguided, unkind soul. Like I said, when I first heard the story, I thought it was going to be about another white supremacist out here wanting to continue on whatever it is plan or what's going on now. I don't know what is going on. Everything is crazy. I thought it was another one of them. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, it's not. This gentleman right here belongs to those people that some of those in America want to keep out and want to keep across the border. And where President Trump was saying to build the wall to try to stem the violence from people like that. I know there's violence in my community. I know there's violence in white communities. I know there's violence in all communities. The difference between the violence in the black community and the violence in the white community, we know our history. The white ones came here, stole the land. The descendants of slavery were kidnapped and brought here against our will. We are already here. This is our country. We were here. We know what happens. But when you come and bring your violence from your country to here, that's when we have the problem. That's where everyone has the problem. There is no problem with anyone coming into America. Everybody should be able to come here and get along and live peacefully and happily, the way that the American government tries to promote America to be. But they say America is the land of the free and the home of the brave. But it seems like America is only the land of the free to the white supremacists and their white privilege, and the home of the brave, I guess, white supremacists and the white privileged. Because the rest of us, for some reason, are still having a hard time fully being able to live and enjoy life peacefully here in these United States of America. Whereas those who consider themselves white are able to walk around and live freely and move freely, however it is that they want to do. Once we leave outside of our African American community, we're always being watched. Everyone wants to look at us, wants to wonder why, what are we doing, and wants to pull us over, wants to give us a ticket, wants to find some reason to bother us when all we want to do is just live and enjoy life like you. But this is not the case when it comes to Robb Elementary School. Ramos is not a white supremacist. Ramos is an immigrant from across the border. Ramos allegedly had an issue with his grandmother that he not only took out his grandmother, but like I said, he then went on and vented his frustration on an innocent elementary school. But here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. This report says that Ramos went to whatever this high school names high school. So if you had a problem with your grandmother, you wanted to vent your frustrations and you were angry, okay, you took it out on your grandmother already. You should have left it there. You didn't have to take your anger out into the public and hurt innocent children and innocent mothers and fathers, aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters. Those people went to school and went to work that day expecting to go back home with their family. Their family expected for them to leave home and return home at the end of the day, not to be sitting here wondering why you took it upon yourself to hurt their children and to hurt their family. Not saying it's a better alternative. I'm just asking the question. He offed his grandmother. He didn't want to leave it there. Okay. If you wanted to go and shoot up a school to vent your frustration, why didn't you go to the high school you were in? Why the elementary school with the little children? What was it about the elementary school that you wanted to go and shoot up that you didn't go to the high school? I would think that you being at the high school, being in the high school, being in there, if you were being bullied, you would want to go and attack the high school. But I don't even think that was the case. And it's just like the new kind of white privilege that they're trying to use is blame everything on COVID. Ladies and gentlemen of the United States of America, mainly you white privileged people and white supremacists, COVID is not a band-aid cure all for every ill that happens in the United States of America. There are just some things that have been lingering here in the United States of America before the COVID era, like racism, like mass shootings, like police brutality, like poverty, exploitation, and a list of other things. All of these things have been here already. COVID is not the reason why this gentleman, I'm sorry, this not so kind soul, Ramos, went and vented his frustration in an elementary school full of innocent children because he was just selfish. You offed your grandmother. I don't know where your mom and dad is. I would like to know where is mom and dad. Where is your family? Where was there someone in your clan that could have prevented this from happening? Because right now they're going to blame the school, they're going to blame the government, they're going to blame everybody. But where the blame needs to be put at first at you and then at your clan around you. The fact that you had the gall to kill your grandmother. I love my grandmothers. I would put anyone down before I put my grandmothers down. Because I know at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you have to know who has your back, know who you can turn to when times get rough, and who is there when no one else will be there for you. That's what grandmothers are for. The fact that you were with your grandmother, allegedly, because I'm only assuming because you killed your grandmother, the fact that you were with your grandmother lets me know that your grandmother was your last lifeline. And when you took her out, there was nothing left for you. So you thought that you were going to go on a rampage at an elementary school? That's not cool. And the media trying to use the fact that we've been on lockdown for a year, we've been out for over a year, that's the reason for this individual to do what it was that he did. No, this individual, that other white supremacist, and all the other crime that goes on around here has been going on. Because I ask you this, ladies and gentlemen, if we can use the excuse that this unkind soul, the reason why he did what he did and shot up a school full of elementary school students off his grandmother, caused the death of 14 students and one teacher at the time of this recording, if you can use for him, if you can use for the white supremacist Peyton and all the others, if you can use the excuse of having a mental break for being locked down in the house during COVID as an excuse for why these unkind souls did this, why is it that you can't extend that same courtesy to those descendants of slavery? Mainly those descendants of slavery in that small pocket out there in Chicago, Illinois, who, ladies and gentlemen, we all know has had problems before, during, and after COVID. But not one time has anyone said anything about those gentlemen out there suffering from a COVID illness. I'm sorry, a COVID mental illness. America, I want you to pay attention to the new word for white privilege. It's called COVID illness. I'm sorry, COVID mental illness. But there is no COVID mental illness. The only mental illness that is here in America, that has always been here in America, that was built into the fabric of America. All of these words are not my words. They are the words of your president, Joe Biden.
Domestic terrorism, violence inflicted in the service of hate, and the vicious thirst for power that defines one group of people being inherently inferior to any other group. A hate that through the media and politics, the internet, has radicalized, angry, alienated, lost, and isolated individuals.
Racism is the problem. Racism has always been the problem. And until everything across the board is done fairly, we will continue to have these problems. My community wants to live in peace. My community wants to be happy and move on. But you and all other communities don't want us to do neither. My community don't want to be involved in things like what Ramos and the white supremacists have done. We want to live in peace, harmony, and happiness, not stress, depressed, and poverty. Until America addresses racism and race seriously across the board, or should I say, until you address race truthfully. I mean, I'm going to be fair and I call spade a spade. The same way I corrected myself on Twitter when I thought that this gentleman was a white supremacist, but he's just an immigrant from across the border. I would say this: we do not need stricter gun laws. We have enough gun laws. Every state has their own gun laws. The federal government has their gun laws. I live here in New Jersey. Me owning a gun in New Jersey is pointless because the only thing I'll be able to do with that gun is to go hunting. There is no self-defense law here in New Jersey. If I use my legal gun to defend myself, to defend my life, I'm going to jail. And depending on if I wound or kill the person, is depending on how long I will spend in jail. And because of the color of my skin, I'm going to be in there a long time. If you cannot defend yourself with your gun, if you cannot defend your family, if you cannot defend your life, if you cannot defend your livelihood with your gun, what is the point of owning one? The reason why this gentleman and others like him can do what it is that they're doing because they're not being met with resistance. That's the reason why he chose that elementary school. Because if in Texas it is legal to open carry, and if this uncon soul had him a weapon, went up to that elementary school and did what he did to those students. See, those little students didn't have their guns. But I guarantee, I can bet you that high school, about half of them kids in that school probably had them a gun. And that's why he didn't go up to that high school and go shooting, because they would have been shooting back. One gun versus 50. He's outnumbered. He was already done when he shot the first shot. But by going to the elementary school and catching everybody off guard, this is why I said that I don't understand why it's not required in every school district on a federal level. If you want to do something on the federal level, leave the guns alone. What you need to do is leave it how the Constitution have it. We have the right to defend ourselves with our weapons. We have the right to own a gun. In every state, all 50 of these United States here in America. Because guns are not the problem. The people who are wielding the guns are the problem. We don't need stricter gun laws. What we need is stricter gun guidelines, I guess. Like, we need to it should be required to have a mental evaluation and continually required to have a mental checkup. As I've stated, for if you're working with the public, like being a police officer, a firefighter, a bus driver, working for the school district, wherever it is in those areas like that, in high stress situations, you should be required to have a mental health evaluation periodically. Guns don't kill people. People with mental illnesses kill people. Selfish people kill people. Broken people kill people. Hurt people kill people. Guns don't kill people. Ladies and gentlemen, I say we should let President Biden know that he need to leave the gun law alone, and he need to make a law that says it is federally required for all schools, from preschool to high school, to have armed and unarmed security. Because another problem is in a lot of these places, a lot of these cities and states, even there's some places here in New Jersey where, except for Newark, we have security on all levels. Outside of Newark, I'm learning that and they don't have security in preschool, middle school, elementary school, rarely in middle school, only in the high school. And in the other grades, if they're not there the full day, they're only there half the day. What kind of security is that? When someone wants to do something, they're going to do it. And when you make it easy for them, you make it easy for them to do it. By not having security or armed security there in these school buildings to protect the students, like you protect the president, you protect the governor, you protect the mayor, you protect everybody else, but y'all only care about the students, or should I say, you only care about the children when they're hurt. How about we be more proactive instead of reactive? How much more innocent blood need to be shed before we finally do what we need to do to put an end to this madness? Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm Akeisha Mullins, and this is The Yacht Report.